This video is sponsored by Win-Win Technology, your ultimate flight sim hardware solution, featuring the Orion hull test, current and future configurations.
Hello valued viewers, I hope you're all doing very well. Today's request is from Colin Bradbury. Can you get the F-14 above Mach 2.5 as per this article? Former F-14B tells the story when he and his pilot pushed their Tomcat beyond the aircraft's advertised top speed of Mach 2.34. Now this is going to be really interesting, and we're going to change it ever so slightly. Yes, we're going to try and beat the maximum claimed speed of Mach 2.34 of the Tomcat, but we're also going to use this as an opportunity to compare the F-14A versus the F-14B in terms of acceleration and crucially in terms of top speed. So RC, I've got the F-14A here with the TF30 variant engine, the older engine. You've got the F-14B with the F-110 variant of engine. Both our aircraft are about the same weight, within a few hundred pounds. We've got almost identical aerodynamics. But crucially, you've got 50% more power than me. I've only got just under 21,000 pounds of static sea level thrust. You've got just under 30,000 pounds of static sea level thrust. So that's like you having, say, 150 horsepower and me having only 100 horsepower. So RC, you'll agree with me that you are going to win the drag race and you're probably going to win the top speed as well.
Probably.
Yeah, I'd agree with it. Once we take off, just put the nose up about 10 degrees, full afterburn all the way. We have no fuel in these aircraft. We've turned fuel burn off up to about 40,000 feet, at which point we'll level off and try get our maximum speed. Okay, RC, spool just to about what you can hold with brakes on.
Ready.
And 3. Oh, hang on, I'm going. 3, 2, 1, go. Power. Come on, blowers. Come on, blowers. Look at the difference. 50% more, not horsepower, but, you know, power or torque, whatever it's called, thrust. Look at that. You literally got already, RC. Right, get your gear up. I'll do the same. You are literally a speck already in my screen. Unbelievable difference. With regards to wings and everything else, just leave it all to be automatic so that there's no bias there. I'm just going to follow in your shadow. Right, climb up to 40,000 feet basically. You know, we've got the same drag. He just keeps on getting smaller and smaller. So much more power in that thing. Supersonic already. Even I'm supersonic. 11,000 feet. I wonder if we can compare our fuel burn rates. Do we have a fuel flow rate? Mine is 7.17. What's yours?
8.
You can inject more fuel into your blower basically. We're both going to burn the same amount of fuel per air, the same fuel air ratio thereabouts, but you can get more fuel in and get more air in because of the design of your engine. All very interesting stuff. We're at Mach 1.2 we're heading towards now. We are 31,000 feet. I never get bored of how much of a monster these planes are. I'm still in it, guys, though. Look, he's not. I'm still in it. 34,000 feet. Once we're at 40, we'll level off. Get your autopilot on, RC. Wings are fully back, obviously. Fully automated. Mach 1.2. 40,000 feet. Right, get your VSI level, RC, and get your autopilot set. Put out. Like that. They've made it a little bit more awkward to use nowadays, so it takes a bit of... got to get your VSI perfectly neutral. Have you got your autopilot working?
Yep.
Yes, I've got mine working as well. Right. We can now sit back and enjoy the ride and look at our metrics and stuff like that. F-14A versus F-14B. What's your favourite, valued viewers? F-14A, you've got Top Gun, the early 80s movie. F-14B, it's more powerful. RC at 41,000 feet and 1,100 knots. I think that's true speed. Oh, look how slow I am. Wowzer. I am so slow, RC. 40...
Yeah, Mach 1.9. Right
Mach 1.9, and I'm all the way down at Mach 1.6. Massive difference in acceleration. I mean, this isn't top speed. I will get my jet faster, obviously, but it's going to take a lot longer to get mine really whirring along, to get mine in its power band, if you will. RC now nearly 1,200 knots. Again, I think that's TAS with no wind or ground speed. Oh, catching up a bit. I'm catching up here. I'm over 1,000 now. Mine seems to be hitting its power band, RC. I'm Mach 2.1, RC. I'm Mach 2.1, and I'm still accelerating.
Okay. Now I've got it working.
Look at that. It's a bullet. The Corvette of the skies, the valued viewer says. Oh, now here's the thing, RC. You've topped out. you've topped out at just under 1,200 knots. I'm faster than you! I am faster than you. Give me a Mach reading, RC.
2.05.
You're at 2.05. I'm at 2.15. I'm at 2.15. I am now faster than you, and I'm going to overtake you. Now, this is something that the valued viewers did not expect. What's going on? Could they have modelled it wrong? I don't know. Let's carry on finding out. RC has absolutely topped out at 1192. I'm 70 knots faster than RC. I'm now hitting Mach 2.2, and I'm actually going to go whizzing past you at some point at the rate of things, RC. I'm at a delta of 100 knots now, so I am absolutely reeling you in now. Only 7 miles between us. I'm passing Mach 2.2 now. What we're going to do now, RC, because this is going to take a long time, I'm going to turn the camera off. We're going to have a little play around with our altitudes and make sure we can get the exact optimal altitude. And then we're going to report back. Welcome back. So we've been messing around for a while now with infinite fuel, trying different altitudes between Angels 35 and Angels 45. And we've got what I would call our absolute optimums now, literally to the nearest knot. I can achieve in the F-14A an absolute maximum. I mean, ignore these gauges here. They have inaccuracies in them, which are simulated to be like the real inaccuracies of the real jet for various reasons. What I do is put Jeep bar on at the bottom here, left control and Yankee, and you can have the absolute speeds and altitudes. These have no inaccuracies in them. So at an altitude MASL 37,480 feet, I can get an absolute maximum in this configuration in this environment that we've got set here as 1330 knots TAS or ground speed because there's no wind. Ignore the Mach reading on there, it will be inaccurate. So we're going to put my figures in here on an online calculator. It's just a basic bit of math. And we've got an actual Mach of 2.32. RC's, he's got his absolute optimum in the Bravo model at 39,234 game, 1215 game, giving him a Mach of 1.12. So me in the A model, 2.32. Him, 2.12. That means I am 0.2 Mach faster than him. So the first thing to say is that we did not achieve Collins' claimed Mach 2.5. However, just bear in mind that we may not be fully optimal here. Like we may have our pallets on the bottom, so we may be causing a bit of extra drag. The conditions, the environmental conditions may not be absolutely perfect for top speed. But the key thing we're pointing out here is that the A model has got a top speed 0.2 Mach faster than the Bravo model. To talk about why, I'm going to bring our good friend and aviation buff, Joshua, in. Hello, Joshua.
Hey, Cap, how's it going?
So, Joshua, you know a lot more about these aircraft than me, and I was the first one to be absolutely astounded. Obviously, we knew this was going to happen because we planned the video. And if I bring this graphic here, sorry about the noobiness of it, but it's going to give us the rough details we want. Why, in DCS, is an aircraft, the A model, with this old, wretched TF-30 engine here, with only 21,000 pounds of sea level thrust, going Mach 0.2 faster than the Bravo model, which has got this lovely computer-controlled, more modern, more controllable F-110 variant, which is giving nearly 50% more sea level static thrust. Is the game broken, or is this how the real jets were, Joshua?
No, that's exactly the way Hippler did an excellent job on this, and I give him a props on that. That is absolutely correct, the way the engines are performing. Like you said, the TF-30 can actually perform a little bit better, but under right circumstances and everything like that. But it's always going to outrun it at top speed. One of the reasons why the F-110 is performing the way it does, simply because, like you said, it's computer controlled. It doesn't need to go that fast. You're not going to be dogfighting at Mach 2. That's one thing that they looked at also when they put the F-110 engine in, was you can throw the throttle around with no problem, slam it forward, home, do whatever you wanted to. And it's only the computer's going to control the engine and adjust it accordingly to get the airplane to do it. It's a much better dogfighting engine. That's why the F-16 and the F-15's got the engine in it. So let's look at the TF-30. The F-30 was designed not for the F-14. It was designed for a Douglas F-6D Missileer. It was a program that Douglas had created, and it was just an airplane that kind of looked like a old school A-10, just to carry missiles up and just lob missiles out and not really dogfight. The F-111 had the TF-30 in it. it got kind of a bad rap, not so much as what the F-14 did to it, but to the extent that the way the engine nacelles were kind of tucked back underneath the fuselage, and so it didn't have like the correct airflow, so it had some issues, but not to the extent that the F-14 had in it. So what is special about the TF-30? Well, the TF-30 is kind of like a smaller version of what the SR-71 had in it, which was the J-58. So at higher airspeeds is where the engine performs best. On the ground, it didn't perform at all, which is a prime example of what you guys showed earlier, with the drag race taking off and everything like that. At full military power, the F-110 had way more power than the TF-30 had it at stage 5 afterburner, which was amazing. At higher airspeeds, this TF-30 did something that the F-110 doesn't do, and that the computer limits itself in doing with the ramps and everything like that inside the F-14 inlet. It would create almost kind of like a ramjet effect, which is what the J-58 did. At the higher airspeeds, it would start compressing and doing, without getting so technical, magic inside the engine and creating, essentially bypassing certain compressor stages and creating almost a ramjet effect, so where it didn't really look at the first stages, and it kind of bypassed it and made it this awesome little engine at higher airspeeds. I was talking with one gentleman that was testing it. Well, not talking with him. Watched a video of them testing the airplane out at Calverton. I think they got the airplane up to like Mach 2.6 or 2.7 with the TF-30 on it. And it kind of scared the test pilot, because he was sitting there and the airplane all of a sudden just kept accelerating. And he was like, whoa, so he had to pull the engine back just to slow the airplane down. What had happened, and why they limit the airframe, it's an airframe limitation, is a 2.3, because it would actually start melting the front windshield because of just the absolute speed that the airplane was getting out of it. Getting it hot, making it buckle. That's why you have all that cage up there in front of you. It's just for the speeds of the airplane. And they never had taken that engine to those speeds before, so they didn't know. That translates right back into us like, well, why didn't they keep the engine in there? Again, that goes back again to, you're not dogfighting at Mach 2. Where does the airframe turn at its optimum range? And you need to be able to turn and have the airflow flowing through the engines correctly and everything like that. And the TF-30 just could not do that at all. The engine was a good engine, and it gets a bad rep because of the airframes that it was put in. It's a good engine for straight and level flight, like what the A7 had and the F-111.
Also, the TF-30 variant was in the F-111, and as I remember, that was incredibly fast as well. Mach 2.5 official, I think.
It was. It did the exact same thing. They changed it out later on. One of the big reasons why the F-111 had a better symbiotic relationship with that engine was because it's not a fighter. They called it an F-111, which was fine, but it didn't turn and bank and yank and everything like that, like what the 14 did. It was just good, long, straight run airplane, and the engine performed fantastic there.
So the final thing that I've drawn for that is philosophy of use. So originally, in the A version, they put this TF-30 in because they probably envisaged this F-14A as a fleet defender that wanted to get airborne as quickly as possible and get high and as fast as possible. Hence this TF-30 engine to get out to intercept the bomber. But when they actually started using it in service for the first 5 or 10 years, I imagine they had lots of accidents, and because it is prone to stalls and stuff like that, then they decided they want a more usable engine that doesn't go as fast, but is better throughout the entire band of use. Would you agree with that?
The reason why the Navy had to put the TF-30 inside of the F-14 was because of the Navy saying, and the politics getting involved in it, saying, no, you put that engine in there. Grumman didn't want to use the engine. They wanted something different because they knew what was going to happen with the engine. That's like, this is a bomber engine. It's not a dogfighting engine, but they just had to deal with it until they could come around and get the 110. So a lot of politics went into that part of the F-14 was full of politics, unfortunately. That's one of the things that killed it as well, killed the program. The Navy had to work with what they had and what they were given. They wanted something else, but that was really all that they had. They had worked with Pratt & Whitney in the past. They didn't have a choice. It was like, you're going to use this and shut up. So, and that's what Grumman did. It's like, okay, fine then. We want the money. We want the contract. We want to be able to build this airplane. Okay, we're going to put it in we're going to put it in there and try to make it work as best we can. You see the end results of that. Again, that goes off into Navy politics, and so it's kind of crazy. There's a bunch of videos you could look at of why they had to put the TF-30 in the 14. The Grumman technicians were kind of like, I don't like this, and stuff. We can make it better, and they finally did with the 110.
Oh, very interesting story. Thank you very much for that, Joshua. Anything to add, RC?
Nope.
Hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you later.